So is it recording? Okay. So in order for us to help you better, we need some context. Okay, we need some context about you. So these are a couple of questions that I want to ask you. You can write down first. Number one, how many years of experience in the industry? Okay. Number two, what's your biggest challenge about investment knowledge? Okay. Number three, what's your biggest challenge internally that is holding you back? Number four, what's your goal and objective for this year? Okay, please answer these four questions while I play some nice music. And in order for us to help you, we need all of this information. If you guys are okay with that, please type okay in the chat.
Thank you.
Okay, Raphael is okay. Jane is okay. Fantastic. Let's get started. I'll play some nice music for you guys. Take the next 3 minutes to answer this question. 3 minutes. One last minute. Okay. I see some of you typing already, huh? Good. 6 years, uncertain about the returns I can make for my clients. Okay. Fear of reaching out on MDRT. Good. 6 years, I find my clients are more interested in returns instead of knowledge. As long as I tell them a story compelling enough, do I really need to gain more investment knowledge? Curious to know if it's worthwhile building AUM. COT, okay. Less than 1 year, how to safeguard clients' portfolio from downside when investing at all times high. Fear of prospecting friends since I don't have proven record. Okay, almost 2 years, making it seem worthwhile to be invested in. For example, insurance product ILP got bad reputations. Okay, irregular prospecting, only do when chased by managers. Very honest. Thank you for sharing, all of you. Okay, last 30 seconds, wrap it up. Okay, 11 years, many conflicting information on the market. Pitching suitable portfolio to clients, safeguarding clients' portfolio during downturns. Not able to prescribe confidently due to lack of confidence in investment knowledge. Okay, to hit MDRT again. Very good. Okay, fantastic. So let me pause my music. So I want to ask all of you here to get to understand you guys a bit better. How many of you are new to me? Please type new in the chat. How many of you are new to me? How many of you know me before? Please type friend in the chat. How many of you know me? Oh, new to me, type okay, friend. Okay, fantastic. You guys know me, friend. Okay. How many of you new? Okay, good, fantastic. How many of you are new to Alvan? Please type new in the chat. How many of you are new to Alvan? How many of you know him personally? Please type friend in the chat so we can understand you guys better. Okay, see online only. Very good. A lot of you
Online.
okay. Alvin know Alvin, okay, very good. Friend. Fantastic.
Yep.
So with that being said, okay, Arthur is new as well. With that being said, I want to introduce Alvin to you guys. Alvin, formally introduce yourself to the rest, to the crowd, please. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks everyone for coming. I mean, you probably know my name, but you probably don't know what my journey has been. I will probably say that I'm very new as a FA coach in the space where Darryl is for the last few years. But prior to this coaching, which I started beginning of this year, I was actually a financial advisor like many of you. And my only focus back then as advisor for coming to 4 years was only in the area of investment. My track record, right, is that I have never sold a shield plan. Okay, I have never sold a life policy. Okay, purely ILP or even building my own AUM. Right? In terms of clients, about less than 100 clients, and in that 3.5 year period, right, I personally achieved like 800K FYC. So that's the kind of work that I've done. And as an advisor myself back then, I was also a trainer for my own organization, purely helping all the advisors in terms of how they allocate assets to their client. So in terms of advisors, it's about 200 over clients, 200 over FAs per se. So I was previously from AXA. Then of course everyone know AXA was being bought over by HSBC Life. Right? Left the industry. So as a coach, right, I think how I position myself will be really number one. I want to help everyone have clarity when it comes to investing for clients. And to do that, right, is to actually have conviction on your own. And the conviction cannot be based on superficial elements, right? It has to base on facts, not some random strategy that sometimes works, sometimes don't work. And how to do that, right, is really based on facts and framework and basically checklists. Like today, right, you need to understand that in the investing world for clients, right, there's only 3 periods, right? The first period is before crisis. How should we position clients' portfolio? And then during crisis, and then after crisis. And I basically implemented this framework during the time as a FA because I joined the advisory in the 2020, which all of you know is like COVID, right? So that was the best time for me to solidify my framework and help not just me earning FYC, but at the same time help my own clients. Then at the end of the day, by having clarity and conviction, right, I want to help most of the people out there, whether you are part of the coaching program or not. That's not a problem. I want you all to be able to stand out as an investment consultant.
Mhm.
I think that is my journey and where I see myself in the next, where to be in a sense.
Thank you for sharing, Alvan, so that all the audience can understand the work that you do, right? Important stuff. Fantastic. So I just want to formally introduce myself to you guys as well. I'm Darryl, the founder of Break the Limits. I've been coaching for the last 4.5 years. We specialize in nothing got to do with sales, marketing, referral, branding, no scripts. We focus on the mindset, internet aspect, emotion mastery, so that advisors can break their limits literally and achieve all the goals that they want to achieve for themselves. And without further ado, let's get started with today's segment. I want to ask all of you a honest question. How many of you agree that the world out there, not in this room, is filled with a shit ton of judgment? Please type yes in the chat if you agree. When you tell people, I want to create an opportunity, can I prospect you? They say, don't need lah, don't need lah. Correct or not? You run advertisements, they judging you. There's a lot of stigma. So can we all promise one another, some of you are strangers, don't know each other, true? To provide a safe space so that it's conducive for learning and for breakthrough. If yes, all of you, please type SAFE in the chat. Safe. Those of you who've been through my training, my coaching, this is a SOP that I always do. You will know it's familiar. Yes, because once you are safe, then you can succeed. So all of you, please type in your iPad, safe to succeed. It's the same principles and philosophy. You don't feel safe when you prospect people, so you don't succeed. You don't want to do it. But when you feel safe that this person won't judge you, I think my manager will not shame me if I never get an appointment. You actually start prospecting more. So this concept stays true to this moment as well in this masterclass that I have with Alvan for you guys. So let me just share with you the objective and how it's going to work. Throughout this entire 1 hour, I want you guys to maximize us, not abuse us. You have paid $0 so far, and we're going to keep it that way. There's nothing to sell you in this program, in this segment. Instead, I want you to imagine you are our paid clients. It's going to be a free Q&A segment. Ask good questions, you get good answers. Okay, please write down in your notebook. The quality of answer you get is very dependent on the quality of the questions you ask. If you ask the question, Alvan, can I do COT this year? Alvan say yes. That's all you get. Yes. But if you ask Alvan, how can I create an 8-figure AUM, a 7-figure AUM with right ethics and integrity in a 6 months time frame? Well, suddenly you got a very good quality answer. True or not true? So let's get started by giving you guys a short snippet of how to ask very powerful questions. So first segment, please write it down somewhere. There's the first type of question is a can or yes, no question. It's called permission question. Permission-based question is a yes, no. Do you think I can succeed in this lifetime? Yes, no. Should I reach out to my friend? Yes, no. Permission-based question. There's a yes, no question. Second type of question is a how-to question. How to achieve MDRT. It's good, it's good. It's better than a yes, no. You're finding solutions right now. What can I do? How to, what questions? Why am I facing these kind of challenges? Okay, cool. The third type of question, which is the kind of question I want all of you to ask, is how to plus elaboration question. Okay, this is something that schools don't teach. Managers might not teach, but we must teach you. So for example, just now I gave you guys an example. How do I achieve an 8-figure AUM with ethics integrity without feeling pushy salesy in a 6 months time frame? So the thing that I want you to write down somewhere is elaborations. So elaboration words are even if, regardless, without, what else? If only, or maybe you can give more context. You elaborate questions like, assuming this happens. The word is assuming. Given that, so you can give Alvan questions and context like, given that this is happening, given that I got 5 clients only, given that. So these are some elaboration words, give us context so that we know how to support you better. Make sense? Okay. And I want all of you to practice first, because if I just teach you like that without practice, you will just, but you will not ask good questions still. So right now, can we all practice? Please type in the chat yes if you're agreeable to practice. Can you all practice? Yes. Okay, beautiful. Raphael say yes. What about the rest? I want to hear from all of you. Alvin say yes as well. Very good. Okay. So let's practice. I want all of you to really unleash your fullest potential, your power. Don't care whether that question is a good question or not good question. I want you to start practicing asking level 3 kind of question. How to plus elaboration question. Can you understand? Okay, now it's 2:17. Take the next 1 minute. Spam as many questions on how to plus something. So I will vet through, me and Albert vet through, to see whether you guys are getting hang of it before we go into the proper Q&A later. Okay, let's get started. Let's go. I'll play some nice music for you guys, huh? You can ask more than one. But to practice, ask more than one. The more you try, the more you practice, the better you get. So don't overthink. I want you guys to over test. Test more. Type more. Currently stuck. You can type stuck so that we can know how to help you better. Huh? And give examples again, sure. So anyone else stuck so I can see, I understand the room better. Okay, so give you some examples again. You can ask questions like, for example, how can I speak in an eloquent manner that makes me feel very confident without feeling anxious or panicky in front of a crowd of 500 people? So all of these elaboration question, it just gives more context. Does it make sense? So there is okay, never mind. Let's practice together. We step by step, guys. Very important. In order for this Q&A to be good, you need to ask good questions. All of you just spam as many how-to questions you can think in your mind right now. Type inside the chat. How to cook? Type. How to talk about, how to tell people, about investments? Just type. All practice first together. Come, let's go.
Okay. Probably not how to cook lah, because I don't know how to cook.
Yeah. That's an example. That's just an example. We will not
I know,
answer the question. Yeah. You can
joking,
just type
joking.
how to first. So all of you, there's 11 of you in the room. Just start by asking how-to questions, not the elaboration question first. Okay, very good. How to recommend investments to knowledgeable prospects. That's a good start. Very good.
Okay.
I want to hear from all of you first. Practice, Rafael, ask a few more.
Yep.
A few more how-to questions. Okay, good. How to convince people that the rate of return will be good in the long run. Very good, Ricky. That's a good attempt. Ricky, try ask more questions. A few more how-to questions. I want to hear from Giselle, Jane, Alvin, Arthur. All of you type as a patron also. Type. Just practice this portion first. Good. Okay, fantastic. How do you convince people that they should work with you on investment rather than others? Good. How to sell ILP dividend funds? Okay. Other assets that can generate cash flow. Okay. How do we position ourselves, our client's portfolio for pre-crisis? Okay, fantastic. How to create portfolio without switching funds? Okay, create. Good. So right now you guys are getting the momentum. Fantastic. Take the same question that you asked just now and you add an elaboration right there so that it gets better. For example, right, Matthew, how do you convince people that they should work with you on investment rather than others? given that I'm 2 years in the business only. Make sense? Suddenly now it gets sharper. How do we position ILP to complement the property investment, Bitcoin, etc.? Fantastic question, Arthur. Add an elaboration question. That's an elaboration right there, Arthur. For example, how do we position ILP to complement property investment, Bitcoin, assuming that the investor right now has a $1 million portfolio? Interesting. You add the elaboration, now the answer is totally different. So I want to challenge all of you to add that elaboration right in, guys.
Yeah, even like for Raphael's question, right? How to recommend investment to knowledgeable prospect, right? What do you mean by knowledgeable prospect? Because knowledge and results are different. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like, I mean, like I have my professor who are PhD in finance. But if I ask them what kind of investment they do, right? They probably just buy property and put money in the bank. But because of their age, right? Many years ago, interest and property price was very low. And being a teacher, right, the risk profile is low. So knowledge doesn't translate to results. So if you can add a bit of the context, that will be helpful. At least we know like who are you trying to have that conversation with.
Okay, so Peichin asks, how do you come up with the allocation mix if every client risk profile is different? Very good. Do you have a prefixed 3 sets of allocation or customized to individual? Good. How do you do an AUM business model without affecting our personal comms? Interesting. Without, yeah, very good elaboration. Without affecting our personal comms. Cool. Interesting. With that being said, you see, guys, now let me ask you, if Alvan and I were to answer all of the questions, do you think this will be a productive session? Type inside the chat, yes or no. You guys asking really, really good questions now, right? It's like, yes, quite a decent session, true. And the credit don't goes to us, no, it goes to you guys for asking such good questions. Make sense? Very good, very good. So with that being said, right now, I want you guys to spend the next 1 minute. Now it's 2:24. Okay, spend 1 minute, right, to ask. You guys are unlimited. You can ask unlimited questions. Really go and ask the question that you kind of want the answers to. Just now, whatever you ask above is just practice, training ground. Make sense? So if you really want the same questions that you asked above, copy and paste, we will start answering them already. Okay. Frankly speaking, I want to share this truthfully as well. Alvan is an expert that I look up to as well in terms of the credentials, the experience. I'm here as a student as well. I want to learn. I want to see what kind of mindset that's Alvan has as an investor, as a advisor that helps people, so that I can borrow beliefs. Along the way, I also ask questions to Alvan, and we can learn together. Okay, that's my position in this segment. So let's get started, Alvan. Time to shine. Let's go.
Okay. So Raphael asks, how to recommend investment to prospect who do their own investment in different assets. Okay. What Raphael, do you mind giving me some context in terms of what kind of assets you are referring to? I mean, you can you can unmute yourself. It's fine. Easier.
I don't know if my audio is fuzzy. You can hear me. Thanks, Alvin and Darryl, for setting this up. So, like, let's say prospect already invested in multiple assets, multiple properties, equity plans, dividend funds. So fixed deposits and also multiple assets. So every time when I'm talking to her, right, the conversation is always geared towards of the product benefits, what are the charges, then the charges for another type of assets is like apple versus orange. This asset charges lower kind of thing. I don't want to lock in or kind of thing. So it's a lot of questions, a lot of details, but I don't think the market is like this. My take on the market is like that.
Okay,
yeah,
so in a sense, right, she might be the kind of client is slightly older, I suppose, in the 50s or in the 60s. Then she's quite, quite competent in the way she invests her own money, right? Okay, then the question, right, is not a competency question, right? Not like, okay, I can invest better for you, I can invest better comparing to you, I have this kind of asset, that kind of asset. Less of the technicality question. So the kind of question that I will want to ask the client, right, is like, Miss Client, if assuming something happened to you, how will all this asset be managed? Right, because you are of a certain age, you have made that pot of money to really enjoy your life. So why not why not we work in a way, right, that we can slowly take hands off from you managing all those assets. So the charges is just me alongside with you. I mean, you think of it, the wealthy people in this world, right, they have family office managing their capital. So why are you not doing that? You are pretty wealthy and you are doing everything yourself. Then how do you enjoy the fruits of your labor? So it's not so much a technicality problem now, right? It is to win her over to say that I'm here with you throughout the journey as you going to fully retire or really go and enjoy your life from there. So means, so the question is, where does she want someone that she can be accountable to? And you think of it this way, right? Everyone, if without charges, right, how will we want to be accountable to someone? Then the conversation now is that, how can you show this client, right, that, okay, I use the word show, right, not convince, because you have to show her that, okay, when you park your money with me, what are the things that I will do with you on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, or what are your exit criteria? Okay, in a world of investing, right, entry is very easy, right, everyone. It's the exit that is the hardest. Like I think some of you asked earlier on, right? Like, how do I know when's the crisis going to come? Honestly, nobody knows. Even the grandfather of investing, which is Warren Buffett, he also won't know. But what we can do is we show client that we prepare their asset allocation if a crisis is coming, assuming that at this point, the market is at peak sentiment or peak condition. Of course, there are elements to see whether is it in the peak element or peak condition. So I hope, Raphael, I bring you closer to your objective in a sense. It's not to show her that one versus one. It's like one versus a team of you. You know what I mean? It's the hard conversation. Ooh. Yeah.
So I want to do a summary. So in case some of you are lost. So what Alvan is saying, Alvan, correct me if I'm wrong. Instead of Raphael's question on how to recommend investments to prospects who want to DIY. So what Alvan is saying is that you need to shift their perspective. For them, they are fighting against the belief that I can do myself, I don't need you. That's why they want to compare. So what Alvan is putting a frame is that people who are wealthy leverage on family office. You want to like them. If yes, you can do it. I'm equivalent to a family office for you. So when they are able to see that shift, that's where they will start entertaining and then trusting you with your recommendations after. So that is what Alvan was trying to express.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that aspect, for me, when I see that lens, right, it's really about how do you have the kind of conviction to tell people that you can manage better than them? That's the thing, Alvan. I want to elaborate on that question. How can Raphael improve or have that kind of conviction that says that he can outdo the current things that the client is getting, outdo the returns that client's doing?
Okay. To outdo clients, right? If we only look at returns, right, there won't be much difference, right? Let's assume if the client can do 10%, you can do 11, 12, 13, or even above it, right? In the client's mind, we're always thinking that, what if you don't achieve it? I mean, whatever is the percentage, right? Unless you can tell them, you can promise them the return, which is becoming non-compliance on our part, right? The only way that we can have that conversation with them, right, is to really cast doubt in the way they do their investment. Right? Like, for example, assuming clients is having multiple property today, is having multiple property a sexy conversation, or do you think that you can properly utilize this particular asset? That would be a question that you can trigger the client. Because you think of it, if the property is fully paid, let's say $2 million, one property, right? You need to manage a tenant. You need to manage the repairs. You need to manage the agent. I mean, whoever the agent that is handling your portfolio. All these are human factors. But assuming this money is put into a dividend portfolio, no hassle. Really no hassle. What's the charges? I mean, 1 or 2% on average a year, but then you get a dividend portfolio of maybe slightly higher. 4-5%, or even some funds out there are even giving 7% now. So that's where it's always casting doubt, and at the same time is whatever conversation that they are having in their mind when they are convicted with their asset allocation, right? Can you show them that their thought process might not be complete? Right? Like for example, today, right? Let's say someone want to invest in a property, right? Comparing to putting their lump sum with you or the property as a deposit, not deposit, as a down payment, right? Then why should they not do that? Then will you know the answer to that question? Or at least you lead them to that conversation.
Right. Thanks for answering that question, Alvan. So what I'm hearing from him, right, is more of like, find cracks in conviction. Guys, simplify. Just write it down. Because for me, I learn the fastest when I simplify things. Make sense? Yep. My role here is to help you guys simplify the powerful stuff that Alvan shared. Find cracks in conviction and cast doubts. But you see, use it in an ethical manner. Disclaimer, guys. Okay, me and Alvan, we teach you things with ethics. So if this person is stubborn, I truly believe that put in the fucking bank for the rest of my life with interest rate is the right way to go. If this person's conviction is so strong, your job is to find cracks in their conviction and say, hey, don't make sense. Then you show them the cracks. And they go, oh yeah, you're actually right. Then we can have a better conversation after. So the second thing he mentioned as well, Alvan mentioned, frankly speaking, if you fight ROI, it's not guaranteed. It's very hard for us to go down this path of like fighting guaranteed. But instead, fight the idea of ease. EASE. What is easier for you? What is more convenient for your lifestyle, your dreams and goals? Do you want to always be the one managing and see your portfolio up and down, feeling the stress? No. Outsource with me. Wealthy people do family office. I'm equivalent to that. So the perks of that is like outsourcing. Focus on what you really want in your life, not about all of these things. These things is a means to an end. Let me be the helping hand. Hey, that sounds nice. Hey, this is a means to an end. Let me be the helping hand. This could be a slogan. Okay, going back to that. So, Raphael, hopefully we elaborated on that point that you mentioned. Ken? Very good. So next, Jane's question. How do we position our client's portfolio for pre-crisis? Okay, Alvan, this is your question. Let's go ahead.
Okay, firstly, let's ask ourselves, right? Let's ask Jane, right? Do you think that we are potentially in a crisis or not? And what makes you think that we are potentially in a crisis? Okay, wait, give me a minute. Yes, so okay, let's assume that we're in a pre-crisis, right? So what makes you come to that conclusion? Hopefully you're not driving. Various events like war. Okay, so is it war or conflicts? Regional battles. Yeah, got more like conflicts, right? Then the question is ask ourselves, okay, to me, a better pre-crisis indicator, okay, I'm going to give it free for all of you. Currently, there's this economic indicator called inverted yield curve. Okay, and this inverted yield curve, okay, do take note, or someone put it there, then you all can do your own research on it, right? Because of this, okay, this inverted yield curve is called a recession indicator. Over the last multiple years, right, it has been very effective. Like 90% of the time, in the next 6 to 18 months, there will be a recession. In a way, right? Thanks. So because of this, right, then that's where for me, I will actually want to reduce clients' equity portfolio. Okay, move into probably like fixed income, or if you have gold assets, gold funds that are out there, mining funds that are out there. But at the end of the day is that one caveat to it is we need to know the entire portfolio that client is allocating, not just to you, but means at the back. I mean, most clients may not give you everything, right? So that allocation need to be in a very good percentage, so that they can have a hedging mechanism, assuming that markets start crashing down now. And this conversation of other than inverted yield curve, right? There could be other indicators that is stacking along it also. Right. So that's the conversation between lump sum. So it means allocate into slightly assets that are probably having a less correlation to the equity market. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, assuming that the crisis is coming. Yeah. Okay. Then again is if it also depends depending on like the insurer that you have, or basically the funds that are available. Right, because you may want to put into bonds. So I'm going to add a bit more context, right? Like bond is considered slightly less risky, right? But again, it's bonds itself, right? Which is debt itself, right? Got multiple type of debt, government debt, corporate debts. But for bonds, right, there's this thing called credit rating, right? So at least put most of the fixed income into BBB and above, because those are considered investment graded bonds. So that's to give you more context into if the market is coming, then where will I want to allocate more of my assets? Then of course, when the market really crashes, then we will allocate to other assets a bit more. They wish, probably more to bonds or even into money market funds. Right? Imagine market coming down, then you shift up to money market funds, right? Then at least the market comes down, the equity portfolio won't be affected. Sorry, the cash portfolio will be affected. So when it comes up, then you just turn it back to equity. I don't know whether that technicality is too complex for some of you, but if you need clarity, I'm just trying to help, okay? But it's a bit complicating. Okay, that's where one good advice that I'll give to all of you now is to really go and study the inverted yield curve and prepare all your investing clients that potentially you are going to do fund switches very soon, potentially in the next 6 to 18 months. Then you need to dive deep into your own platforms, the whatever LPs, or you are using Navigator, you are using iFast, or you are using whichever platforms that you are using, right? Then go and find the less risky, or not less riskier, assets that are less correlated to the equity market, to equity per se.
That's a good summary, actually. Even I'm a layman, I also understand. So I just summarize one more time for you guys, guys.
Sorry,
The inverted yield curve is an indicator whether recession or whatever is coming in. And that is the first thing, first step, step one. Step two, the moment it's coming, then you need to hedge. The word is hedge the risk with less, with investment vehicles that's less correlated to the war or like recession. Which you guys got represented, you guys, your own company that you're representing have, certain vehicles or investment vehicles that's suitable for it. And then number three is that during the crisis, what you can do is that you look for things that is even more safer, things that lesser risk, to hedge it for the time being, and then waiting for the next opportunity before you switch out for you to grow it further. So in a nutshell, if I see it from my lens, right, is that how can you really then ramp up your competency level and understanding all of these things, because knowledge builds conviction. So you guys need to do your own homework, study what is the inverted yield curve, studying what kind of company assets you guys have, so that it increases your competency and your conviction to tell people that, yeah, you really know all of these things and you have actually done it once or twice. If you actually live out this and you do it, all this evidence just build your conviction, so they can go out there and serve anybody, everybody, right? So that's what I'm understanding for Alvan's takeaway.
Yep.
Cool.
And the thing to add more context to this, right, is where start. Okay, of course you need to do your research, right? Like, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3. Then start communicating all this to your clients, because when the crisis come, right, when you want to do fund switches, they may be frozen, they may freeze. So you have to start communicating now to them. You'll get what I'm trying to say? Because when you start educating them, when it happens, right, then they just need more education from you or more assurance from you. But when everything starts tumbling down and then you start educating them, they cannot listen, right? Because they only think of like, hey, my money 100K to 50, 80K to 70K to 60K. Then you ask them to switch out, then they will keep thinking like, hey, what if you will go back up? What if you go back up? What if you go back up? So the education need to be done at this moment.
Yes.
Before.
Okay, understand. It's simple concept, guys. Macam fortune teller like that. If the fortune teller tell you 2 p.m. tomorrow, shit hit your head. You should look up. You should look up. Correct. Same concept. Be a fortune teller for your, not say fortune teller. In another word, I'm trying to make it very simplified for you all to understand. Make sense? You try to prepare them in advance, they will believe when that already happened. Cool. So Pei Jun asked a question, I think with relevance to the answer you gave right now.
Yep.
So Alvan, do you use technical analysis to determine when to move back in?
Yes, also. Yes. I mean, it will be good, but I don't think it's necessary also. Why? Because we are trying to invest clients' portfolio. Because sometimes I feel that when it comes to investing, right, fundamental reasons are more important than technical reasons. Okay, that is my own belief or opinion or my observation over the last 20 years of investing. Unless you are trading their money, which you are not, then technical analysis may get them probably a short-term gain. But when it comes to investing for maybe your client's time horizon is more than 3 to 5 years, I think fundamental reasons are still very important.
Oh, then I got a further elaboration question. What kind of fundamental analysis, right, do you use, right, to determine when to move back in? I'm just curious. Hey guys, you thank me after that. I keep asking you good questions. Okay, let's go.
Okay, most of the time, right, everyone, if you look at it, right, we are investing in funds, okay, not actual company. Am I right to say that? Right? Most of us, okay, unless you are a broker from Fides Capital, I don't know, but let's assume that it's funds first. Then we need to understand the structure of funds first. So structurally, in terms of funds is what? Geographically, right? Means which location should I be investing? Then second, which asset class? Means equity, bond, commodity, money market funds, right? Then thirdly, sector. Right, then the fourth is actually currency, whether whatever. Okay, let's assume all of us just use Sing dollar for today's conversation. Right, don't add in the complication of this conversation for now. So from there, then it will be a very macro approach, less micro, because you don't analyze the individual company. That work is done by the asset manager. Right, if you look at it this way, right, because we are not investing in the actual company. Right? Okay, then you need to ask yourself, right, how do you analyze which country is best to invest? Anyone want to try? Like, for example, there's so many continent. I mean, there's Europe, Japan, Southeast Asia, India, every other region, right? Then how do you determine which country I should start investing at this moment? Anyone want to try? Let participate, please. There's no right or wrong, honestly. PE ratio. Okay, but you think of it, PE ratio is more micro, company level, price to earning ratio. So we are doing macro, right? So first stage is actually, if you want to know which country to invest, right? One way is actually to look at the GDP forecast.
Wow, it got it correct, no? Not bad. Okay, GDP, yeah, continue.
GDP forecast. And okay, the more complex of it is where what I'm trying to say is the economic indicators of all the countries that you are referring to, other than GDP forecast. Yes, geopolitical events also, especially now. Okay, so let me ask this question, okay, test everyone. Do you think that the world is going to be more globalized or less globalized? So, like more or less for all of you who are there. Yeah. Okay, assuming everyone say more, okay, only Alvin say yes. Less, sorry, not yes. Any more? Hey, I got so many of you. Okay, actually the answer is less. Okay, why less, right? It's really because over the last few years, when Trump become the president, you realize that there's this word, what? Trade war, tech war, So because of all this war and COVID accelerated it, when global supply chain, right, was being disrupted because most of the supply is coming from China. Right? Then because of this, a lot of corporate leaders, right, they view that they cannot have all their supply chain in only in China. They have to build supply chain very wide base. So it's okay, I won't actually use the word protectionism. I will actually use the word localization. Okay, and because of this new shift in the trade space, right, the global trade space, right, some of the assets might be affected, and these are mega trends that that you need to know. That will be good for you, right? Like for example, right? I mean, let's ask this question. Another question is like, now Russia invaded Ukraine, right? Everyone, I mean, you all should know lah. You all don't know, then I don't, I don't know which world you are living in, but then which industry do you think will benefit from this invasion? Which are the industry? Anyone? Come, let's try. Because this could be the new allocation that you want to give to your client. Weapons, yes. But we may not have a fund that is investing into weapons. Any more? Energy. Any more? Still have. Tech. Microchip, commodity, materials. Yeah. I think green energy is, to be specific, will have more impact. Okay, you think of it this way, right? When Russia invaded Ukraine, right, Europe has zero Russia supply overnight. Like Germany. Germany is a clear example. So for the next few years, right, a lot of investment will go to green energy. Then definitely weapon also, because assuming if okay, let's take a bet, Biden or Trump will become the president. Biden or Trump. Okay, to be balanced, 50-50. Okay. Honestly, I think doesn't really matter either one continue to become the president, because when Trump started the trade war, Biden continued the trade war. Right? He didn't stop the trade war. So means his election promise say that he will remove all the trade barriers that US have imposed on China, but he didn't remove it. So it will accelerate this conversation of regionalization. A lot of new infrastructure need to be created. Whether is it microchips, commodity, all over the place need to be expanded. Because there was, a couple of years ago, a lot of the essential raw material, we call it the rare raw material, right? It's actually coming out from China. So the Western alliance, right, are trying to speed up the whole process. So, I mean, to me, it's I'm giving more context to, like I say, right, focus on the macro side of the assets, and then decide which sector will work best for your client based on today's environment. So it's a before, during, and after conversation, the crisis.
I got another question. I keep asking questions non-stop, so guys don't mind, because I'm curious. So just now you mentioned 4 things. I missed out. I only got 3.
Okay.
One is geological, the other one is sector, the other one is currency. What's another one that I missed out?
Sector.
So geological, sector, currency. There was 4 that you mentioned.
Asset type.
Exactly, asset type,
asset class. Yeah, asset class,
right.
asset type.
So you were saying that these are 4 things that
Yep.
we need to take note of. I want to ask you about yourself and your beliefs and your worldview. You see, how do you train this kind of foresight in order for you to see beyond the events? For example, a war like Ukraine and Russia. How do you train yourself to have that foresight to say that the repercussions of it will affect the investment market? What do you do? How do you think?
Okay. Okay. So let's say about Gaza and Israel, then Russia and Ukraine, right? Okay. Many of time we may think that it might affect the financial markets. Okay, we are not wrong. Okay, that it will affect the financial market, but just where, right? Like in 2022, right? All the assets in the world, including bond and gold and equity, all lost money, but only one asset make money, or technically two, which is energy and weapon. So it's to understand that, okay, when an event comes, whether what is the event, right? Then my question is, how many people, who is involved? How many people are involved? Because if you straight away say that it's a world war, right, then not really what. US haven't sent any troops, UK, or basically the European people have not sent massive troops into Ukraine, right? Because they are the closest. So if the war comes, then the neighboring countries will get involved if it's a world war. But it's not, it's just okay, like it's a small war or conflicts in a sense, regional conversation. Because if you look in totality, another country, if you look at Africa, Africa is constantly having ethnic cleansing, in the hundreds and thousands of people. If you say Gaza, like this morning I saw, Gaza have 30,000 people dying. But if you go to South Africa and look at the number, last year few hundred thousand people dying, everyone. But why it wasn't really reported? Because firstly, South Africa not really in the financial market, so people don't really care. Okay, sorry to say that, but sometimes out there in the how to say financial world is very, it's like that. Then I want to know, like, okay, what are the company in those countries that are listed in the stock market? Because if they are not really listed, right, then it won't really affect the stock market that much. You know what I mean? Like even, I mean, everyone is aware, right? When Russia go into this war or this invasion, right? All the Western brands pull out. Right? Whatever brand you think of, like Nike, Apple, McDonald's, KFC, whatever. But their share price still went up, everyone. Why? Because it's just a small percentage of that company, I would say. So it's always who are the parties that's involved and how will it impact a listed company. And then you go to the part of like, okay, what are the various sectors that will be affected in this situation. But remember one thing, every crisis is different. I can only say that depending on what is the crisis that is coming, then we can probably appropriate the asset better. Because no one can predict, right? I also cannot predict. You know, like for the last 10 years, people have been talking about US going to default their debts, right? Everyone, if you are in the financial market long enough. But how many of you think that it will happen? Okay, for me, I think it will never happen. Never happen. You can record this. US will never default its own debt one. Guess why is the reason, everyone? Whole world will die. No, then won't die don't like that. won't die. Main trading currency. Everyone. No, not just that. Everyone. They are the only country that can print their own money. How to default, everyone? Fundamental reason. The UK defaulted multiple times. Germany defaulted multiple times because they go through 2 world wars. Japan, whatever country you can think of. Probably Singapore haven't go through yet. Okay, but we cannot say we will never go into it. That's why in Singapore context, we need to be very prudent with our finances as a government. But US, don't worry one. Why? Because every country need to hold US and they can print their own currency. How to default? Means today, if I have a printing machine at home, I just keep printing, no? Then the question is, inflation will come in if they print too much, right? Doesn't matter, because that inflation will be imported all over the world. Because you are holding the currency also, right? Because the demand of the currency is also very high. So that will be the 2 elements. So over the last, ever since people, like who are? One great personality is Robert Kiyosaki. He keeps saying that debt is it's going to collapse. Ray Dalio keep talking about it. Well, 10 over years already. I also get older already after listening to them for the last 20 years. But it never happened. Okay. They are doing that because they want to scare, basically like what I'm trying to do with my clients, right? Cast out and tell them that the way I think better. Then they will have the conversation. But you think of it, the people that they network want to talk to are in the millions of dollars. Means those are people that have no time to manage their money. And they scare them enough, then they will manage their money. Right? Even like Ray Dalio for the last 10 years, the track record also very lousy. I mean, you think of it, you just go and buy a S&P 500 ETF. The wealthy people might need more money. Okay, but the wealthy people don't think this way. They might think one more. Oh, you know what? I invest with Ray Dalio. You cannot. You cannot, right? Means I suck. This is important, everyone. So means people invest with you must have more than just a monetary emotion. They might feel like, wow, this group very suck. Something like that. You get what I'm trying to say. But it's
right
not
there.
just, sorry.
No, guys.
Sorry.
He went on different topics, so my brain also need to catch him.
Sorry.
Slow down. He's very passionate. Okay, can you all feel his passion? Please type inside the chat, yes or no. So he is someone really in the ground. He understands his thought process. But I want to make sure that you guys can link up and take information for transformation. Follow, listen, My question for him was this: how can you use the fundamental analysis so that we can make better decisions? He gave us very powerful stuff. 4 things, remember? Geological, asset class, and then we talk about sectors, and then the last one was what?
Asset
sector,
class.
no, currency, correct? He mentioned
Currency.
this. So then after that, I asked the next question, right? About like, how do you have that kind of foresight? What kind of question do you ask yourself non-stop? He mentioned a lot of stuff, a lot of kind of questions he asked himself. Which if this event, who's involved? What kind of company will be affected? What kind of aftermath would it be? And one word came up to my head was second order thinking. Can you please write down? Second order thinking. I think for Alvan, right, he has the ability to think of second order thinking means you always ask yourself, so what? If this happened and I think the next thing is that he's very curious. So he always gobble up a lot of information about this event, the event. Then you start asking yourself, if today I late for work, what happens? So what? Or my boss might scold me. My boss scold me, so what? So he so what until he see the end outcome. Then he say, oh, so if that's the case, okay, fuck, I better don't be late, man. I better show up on time instead. So some of you, how many of you honestly resonate when I say this? You often overthink. Please type me in the chat. You often overthink. Anyone? Peichin surely is you. Please type me, Peichin. Okay? So good news for all of you. Those of you who type me, you have a gift. That gift is second order thinking if you use it correctly. If it's a curse, okay, if you don't know how to manage that. Does it make sense? So to me, when he was saying a lot of stuff, I was like, hey, shit, maybe that's his gift. Naturally, he has that. He will start thinking of this, the repercussion, and that repercussion. So if some of you only look at the micro, he looks at the macro. And he goes back to fundamentals. Make sense? So hopefully I answered that for you guys really well. And another thing that he mentioned as well, a lot of like the printing of money and all of these things is just an elaboration context. Don't get confused. Okay, so let's go back to the questions. So Alvan, answer the next question, please.
Okay, I just want to add one more, right?
Go ahead.
For the people that you follow when they say certain things, right, or some analysis, right, do look at why this person will say this. Okay, like for example, Ray Dalio is going to say he will bet on China very heavily. For a certain reason, right? He need to sink his context. Means US debt is going to be gone. So I move to China. And he's also heavily invested in China. Right? I mean, it's the same thing, right? He has his own conviction. Then you look at the other spectrum, like Warren Buffett. Right? Warren Buffett recently have his AGM, right? He said what? He's going to forever invest in US. Right? In that sense. So again, what I'm trying to say is however you make money is not the problem. It's do you have the conviction to hold it up? That's the most important conversation. Right? If you speak to a client and then every time the client asks you something, I do like you're not convinced, right? Then of course you cannot win over them. It's not just that concept in terms of how well you invest. Right? It's in your heart, right? How well are you convicted in the asset allocation recommendation you are giving? So I can give a bit of
so guys, that's something that I always teach my clients as well. You must always walk the talk. If you yourself don't do the same strategy, you don't apply for yourself, how the hell are you going to apply for that?
Yep.
Okay, so it's congruence important. Okay, let's answer the next question.
Wait, Alvin, okay. As a beginner, okay, without basically track record, right? Okay, then the next few question is like, it's okay that you don't have track record. Honestly, like even when I first started as an advisor, I do not have track record. But then going back to the previous conversation, right? Do you put your money where do you walk the talk, basically, right? Then you can show clients that why you are investing in that. If you have mentors or FSD or FSM who have invested, you can also use their track record, right? Because you can always give them the reason why you joined this particular team, right? Because, oh, they are very good at investing for clients and these are their results, right? Of course, do mask off the client's detail because it's PTPA, right? But you can put the timestamp there, right? Okay, this client invested before COVID, after COVID, whatever the time period is, before you join the advisory, then you can show them.
Okay, to summarize that, Alvin, I always say if you don't have beliefs to start with, you borrow beliefs. That's the fastest thing you can do. So because when you hear stories about it, then you're like, yeah, it really happened. Yes. And when you tell the same story, the conviction stays strong as well. But as long as this really happened, is the truth, this evidence, that's where you can have conviction from. Make sense? And then Alvin, another thing that Alvin mentioned as well is you walk the talk. Even if you start off with $2,000, your own money, even though you don't have much money, you use the strategy that you recommend your clients. If it's relevant for them, relevant for you, then great. So for that builds more conviction, and then you can go out there and do the right thing. Make sense? Okay, next.
Next one, Ricky. Okay, you asked how to convince people that the rate of return in the long run is good, right? Then my question is, what are they doing currently? I mean, can you give me more context? Like your client, right? Because you want to convince them, right? They must have, are they people who have achieved X amount of returns for themselves on their own? Or they not yet? Because it's two different groups of people. So Ricky, give me a minute, I'm going to look. Okay, so they not doing much, but more to read too much. Okay, means all hate concept, right? Okay, then those are easier clients, right? Because you just have to show them your track record, right? And again, is remind them that I'm not going to ask everything from you. You are just giving me a certain percentage of your allocation. Then prove to them or show them that you can perform well for them, right? Because we cannot promise return, right? If you are very convinced with your allocation, which sometimes I can be very convinced, I actually go on a competition with them. I say that, Mr. Client, if you think that you can do better than me, okay, you take this amount, half give me, half you invest. End of the year, we see our performance. If you are better than me, I will treat you lunch. If I'm better than you, of course, you treat me like. So it means you go into a competition with them. But that's depending on how what's the word? How competent you are and how convinced with your allocation. Wait, I haven't finished your second half of the question. Give me a minute. Okay, when you say company may revise and reduce the rate of return, okay, is it those life plans like guaranteed?
Not too sure if you close them live. Yeah, pretty much it's like usually, sometimes it started off with 4%, for example, right? Then over time, like recently, I think because there was a reduction, like 4 dropped to 3.5%. And at the same time, the banks are actually offering higher interest rate nowadays, which is about 3.5%. So it's quite a similar interest rate already by itself.
Yep. Okay. Okay, those were, I won't perceive it as a investment vehicle, because those are like what we call that, like saving plans or guaranteed products. then those technically you can't change, you can't, how to put it? You can't really change that variable too much. And think of it, why all these interest rate are, coming down, right? It's also because now US is looking to cut interest rate in the next few months or for the next coming 6 months. And all these structured products, right, will be affected, but investment will not. Okay, because why? When the Federal Reserve rate comes down, right, means the risk-free rate is actually lower. More people want to actually park their money back into equity because equity become more attractive in a sense. I hope it helps. Second. Okay, thanks. Where am I now?
Arthur's question.
Oh, okay. Control over. Okay, what? Okay, what do you mean by no control over, Arthur? Is it those saving plans that Vicky was talking about, Arthur? You can unmute. I mean, it's fine. You're going to turn on. At least I need the context. Because no control over. What do you mean by no control over? Oh, you're typing. Give me a minute. That the fund manager are no good. Okay. Then they still collect fees. Okay. Then the question here is, right, what are the funds you are allocating to them or like recommending to them? Like the fund don't deliver. Actually, not true. Okay, you all probably have seen this article said, right? 70% of the fund manager or 80% of fund manager last year don't beat S&P 500. Have you all read some articles like this? If you just say yes in the text message, have right. Okay, but you need to know the context of this report, everyone. They are comparing S&P with all the funds in the market, right? But all the funds are including what? Bond funds, money market funds, fixed income, mixture, equity, then equity with different mix, right? Then definitely it's not going to be apple to apple, right? How can an equity outperform a money market fund? How can a money market fund outperform an S&P 500? Cannot, what? That's why the big chunk of the fund managers, like in terms of hedge funds or asset manager, they are going to lose to S&P 500 for sure. But there are funds out there that actually outperform S&P 500. When they use S&P 500 as the benchmark, there are really funds out there. So means, does your platforms provide that asset or fund manager asset, right, to your client? My client even screenshot to send to me. Yeah, but again, it's really, it boils down to the kind of assets that you are giving to client. Okay, then the context here also, I mean, to ask more questions is like, was the conversation about outperforming S&P 500 back then when they first started? Because if the conversation is like, okay, I just want dividend, but you have achieved your objective, like I'm giving you dividend, but it just happened that the dividend is not better than S&P 500. Of course, because you wanted dividend, right, Mr. Client, you never say you want me to, beat 8% or 9% for you after charges. So it's that managing expectation that I'm trying to say. So one is your fund that you recommend to client, and two is your message. Oh no. Secondly, do you manage your client's expectation during the beginning of the conversation until the part where he screenshot the results to you? And of course, if you are comparing, like, hey, definitely our funds can complement other assets. like properties, bitcoins, or even bank rates, right? Because it is the way you asset allocation for your net worth. I mean, think of it today, right? Okay. So I'm going to test everyone's financial understanding. Which asset has the most liquidity? Which asset is the most liquid for a personal money market, cash in the bank, cash? Actually, it's not cash, everyone. You know what is the most liquid? No, not gold, not money market fund also. See, most of you also don't know. you better get trained. Sorry. Actually, you know what is the most liquid asset you have? Credit card. Wow, good after her. Steady. Credit card is the most liquid. Really. Because if I go to hospital, I think my credit card swipe already. If you pay by nets, you know that you got a limit one, everyone. Whatever is the limit, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000. But credit card, no. I mean, you also have limit, but faster. So credit card is the most liquid asset. So you can tell your client, don't put so much cash in the bank. Go and build up your credit and have multiple credit cards faster. That's the way to help them in the world we live in. Maybe 30 years ago, yes, cash is the most liquid, but now, no, credit is the most liquid. And every asset rightfully should complement. I mean, I look at property. I personally also invested property. But property is not very liquid. I cannot say that, okay, I need 10,000 today, right? Then I go and take my window panel and then take out and then go and sell 10,000. Cannot, right? Everyone. But your funds can, or my wardrobe very nice. I go and tear down this, then go and sell option 2,000. Cannot also. Or my this table, not too bad. You know, the what recyclable chopstick. I go and sell, 1,000. Cannot. So definitely if it's a mix of different assets in terms of their net worth, not so much in terms of their fund allocation. Right? That's where how many percent should go to where, and that's our job as an advisor also to help them. Then bank rates are attractive now, but it's going to be less attractive moving forward. And then the question is, right, over the last 10 years, right, bank rates hardly comes to this level. Then what do you think in the future it will be? Likelihood to be lower also. Assuming the crisis comes, most central bankers will cut their interest rate. So will this asset help you as a client to accumulate wealth over the long run? Or it's just a short-term measure for now, where interest rate is high, you put more cash. I mean, in the bank, in a sense. So it's a short-term measure. Then eventually, client will still need to go into other asset class. So it's always moving money from here to A to B, B to C, and moving around.
Alvan, I have a question. Expansion from what Arthur has asked. Arthur asked a good question. So my question to you, right, is that because you keep mentioning the answer for Arthur's question is liquidity. It's a very strong factor so that people understand that, oh yeah, I may have everything all in on property, but if one thing come, my it's not liquid, I want cash, I'm dead. True, I got no cash flow to sustain the property mortgage, I also die. Good. So it sounds like liquidity is one of the key factors. So, of course, second one we always talk about is yield, the rate of return investment. What are other factors that do you consider when you were to pitch to clients or help clients think when it comes to total allocation?
It also depending on when they need their money. Like outflow means like, do you need money in the next few years where you want to pay off your kids' education, or you want to go for some expensive trips? So it's really inflow, outflow, and trying to make sure that after accounting for their outflow, right, their net worth is still being preserved, right? If it doesn't deplete much, it's actually very good already. It means you have done a very good job in that sense. Like I have a case study back then. This client potentially going to, so he started the journey with me, maybe got about 1.1 million for me to manage. Then in 2 years' time, he will have major expenses of like 400K. Okay, for the next 4 years, that means 100, 100, 100, 100. Then through properly allocating the funds and the allocation, end of that 4 years, his net worth still remain the same, right? And then on the yearly conversation that I had with him, I managed to achieve the returns for him also. Yeah, so it's the
What
fund
I'm
selection.
hearing from you is liquidity is one point. Yield, of course, rate of return is another one. Objectivity is the third one. It sounds like, which is like, what's the objective when you first want to partner with me? Did my strategy align to the objective? Yes, I've done a great job. Am I right? So why I ask this question, guys, all of you listening to this is very important. If someone fight with you that their yield is, their rate of return is good, higher, you tell them, are you liquid or not? Is it fulfilling your objective or not? So this person tell you, say, I'm a doctor, I'm a banker, I'm a doctor, a lawyer, banker, or business owner. Wow, my rate of return 30%, oh, fucking high. I'm very proud. Is it the objective that you want to retire by 50-year-old and don't manage a single shit? It's not aligned. Something is wrong. Okay, good. Is it liquid enough or not? You got your everything all in your business, you know. In the event business go die, burst, then how? Oh shit, I also don't know how. So why I mention this is because it's very aligned to whatever Alvan mentioned just now, cast out. Remember that? These three is good factors for you to go and challenge, find cracks in their conviction. But of course, if this person is really aligned, really good objective, good yield, and then what else? And then the liquidity is healthy, then you can admit that as of now they're doing good. Make sense, guys? So having that will help Arthur to have that proper conversation with people better.
So the word that I after Darryl triggered me, right? It is ask them, right? What is your succession plan in terms of your net worth? Who's going to take over your investment and make sure that you continue to have generational wealth? Can your kids do it? If can, then good. If cannot, then how? Right? And again, is you don't want something happen to you, right? Then you go and find a person, right? Because when it comes to making decision, right, you don't want to make decision when you are at your all-time high, or likelihood when you are at your worst point. Right? You want to make decision when you have a bit of time, not all the time you have, because you don't know when your life crisis will come in, right? So give me a portion of it, like 10% of your net worth, 20%, depending on your conviction. But then over time, slowly pass over. Because you still need to test me. Maybe after giving me 10%, after 1 year, you don't like me, then it's fine. You can walk away. Right? But you need to find the person that can take over your investment portfolio. Like a succession planning. That's the 2 words that I want to say. Can your spouse or children?
Last question. I think you got one last question.
Can your spouse or children manage investment as well as you? Oh, I actually cannot. Okay, but I'm actually training my daughter to do it. So now she's P6. I'm asking her to start her business now. Then over the years, I have basically instilled the way I invest. That's the reason why, right? My clients actually get a copy of my thought process every quarter. Why? Because I actually want to document all my thought process as much as I can, so that I can pass down to the next generation. Right? Like even for me, right? If today when you ask me to analyze the market, right? I actually have a 7 steps framework. Means you just need to go through these 7 steps, right? You will know how to give an answer, but I cannot give to everyone. Sorry for that. If you ask me, I'm also not going to give you. Okay, because it is a painful journey for me. I started investing, not investing, like watching the financial news during my teenage years. So when I turned secondary school, I every day go home, I just watch CNBC. Then every time I try to like connect the dot, like if this news, sometimes it affects this, sometimes you don't. That's why. Like you all will know, right? Like sometimes good news, then after that the stock market comes up. Or sometimes bad news, the stock price actually went up. Then that's where I went through that journey myself to kind of figure out what are the things or what are the 7 factors that can affect the share price of a company. of a company or asset per se for our context, which is a fund.
And one last question, the one that based on macro perspective.
Wait. Sorry, I probably missed it.
I copy and paste and put it for you again.
No, I saw. Thanks. How do we? Okay, try not to go into that argument mode. Okay, because we still need to know our identity. We are an advisor. Means I'm an advisor to you, Mr. Klein. Right? Assuming you think that is bad, I think that is good. Then my question to you is, what if you are wrong? What will you do? That will be my question. In a way. Means you then can you sort of like bear with the wrong decision that you make? So vice versa, right? I'm bad and then you are good. So it's the same. What if you are wrong? Means I'm a bad, you are good. So vice versa. It's the same kind of question. Then what if you are wrong? Then what will you do? Right? Like for me, it's very simple. If I'm wrong, I just cut loss. Can you do that? No feeling one for me. I really have no feeling when it comes to cutting losses. In a way, because I see in a way where it's very structural. It means like if I invest for my clients, once they hit a certain ROI, I will want to take profit for them. Then once it hit a certain loss, I also want to cut. Unless I'm convinced that I can continue to hold the position, then that's where my thought process will come. Right, my conviction will come. So it's very it's coming back to the same conversation, right? Like how convinced are you with your recommendation, and do you walk the talk? Like do you tell client that, hey, I'm in this with you, you lose 20%, I also lose 20%.
So with that being said, we answered the last question already. I want all of you to take the next few minutes, right, to type inside the chat. What was your biggest takeaway from this segment today? Type inside the chat, because when you hear all of these things, it's just information. When you do all of these reflection, now it becomes your own insights. Okay? Spend the next few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, to type inside the chat. What was your biggest takeaway? How can you do things differently?
Oh, Darryl got one question. How much fees does family office usually charge? A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Actually, most family office and fund, okay, not fund house, hedge funds, right? They always have a performance fee. 220. Okay, 2 is yearly management. Means whether you lose money, make money, you still need to pay. But of course, that 2% can be negotiated down or upwards depending on the amount that the client give to the firm. But the performance fee is can also varies also. Okay, there's this fund manager, right? Hedge funds. You will be super surprised how much charges he charge. If I'm not wrong, 33%. Yeah. But his return over the last 20 years is more than 50%. If I'm not wrong. Just can't remember his name. It's a quant fund. I suddenly cannot remember his name. He's a very old guy, mathematician, very well known. You all can just Google this guy. The charges is out of this world, really out of this world. It's more than 20%. It's like above industry standard. But his performance is there. But he has been charging that rate since day one. And now I don't think client can add fund into it. Right? People want to put more money with him, but he say cannot. I have enough money. Really. I mean, but he's brilliant. He's brilliant. Then off topic, just for discussion.
So guys, type inside the chat, what is your biggest takeaway? Matthew say yield, return, objective, and liquidity. These three are good factors to start conversation with people. Very good. How to handle prospects who wants to DIY. Very good. Okay, Paging private message me wanting to leverage on the overthinking thought process and create a second order thinking. Very good. Don't argue, right, with prospects and clients, find cracks in conviction, make them doubt themselves. Try to have more structured thinking so I can show my conviction clearly. Very good. Second order thinking. So clients ask, I already know how to answer them. Very good. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome. So if you guys enjoyed, okay, so personal conviction is very important, of course, right? So if you guys enjoyed today's segment and you want to experience Alvan's work a little bit more, Alvan, how can they reach out to you?
I mean, you all can follow me on my Instagram. I mean, I actually want to paste this on the group chat. Follow not just me or even Darryl also. I think some of you are probably don't know him yet. Just if you want me to have a closer look in terms of your entire allocation to clients, we can actually have a call, a 1 hour conversation, short one. At least I know like, okay, what are the kind of assets that you are recommending to your client now? Then we can see whether we can better recommend to them in a way.
Yep. And then for those of you who enjoyed this, the only thing we ask for, like I say again, nothing to sell you, just give us more referrals, give a shout out on social media. I think that would really help us grow our business as well. Make sense? So we will down here look good, smile a little bit so that you can give us a shout out and take a photo of it. Okay? We're smiling for the next 30 seconds. Another 15 seconds. Okay. Last 5 seconds. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank
With
you.
that being said, we come to the end of this segment already. So if you guys liked it, do give us a shout out on social media, and I really, really appreciate all of you. Okay, go out there and do amazing work for your clients, and I'll see you guys really, really soon. Bye bye,
Thank you, everyone.
guys. Bye bye.